Hi, thank you for joining us virtually at the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center again. We are a wildlife sanctuary dedicated to preserving Alaska's wildlife through conservation, education, research, and quality animal care. My name is Natalie. I am the Naturalist Education Specialist here at AWCC, and today I am joined by our Assistant Curator again, Angelica, and we're going to be doing a really fun video for y'all today.
Natalie, I MuskOx you what animal we're doing this Facebook Live with.
A MuskOx?
Wow! How'd you get that?
Maybe because they're behind us.
You're such an excellent guesser. I'm just so impressed. Yeah, so we get to work with MuskOx here at the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. They are the least researched mammal in North America, still to this day, because of where they get to live out in the Arctic tundra. So we've got a herd of 14 individual animals, but as a herd species, they live in a hierarchy society. So we've got a dominant bull, and then we've got a whole bunch of little ones that just kind of vie for each other's place in that hierarchy. So we have, here's our dominant bull. So this snow-covered beauty, oh, look at that stretch, is Wrangel. Hi, buddy. Behind him we have Chugach. We call him Chugs. We've got some really good examples of MuskOx horn structure coming up here. Oh, I'm so sorry. You were going to ask me a bunch of questions. So we've got Beans. And this little one, I believe, is Juniper. She's just about 2 years old. Oh, Wrangel's watching you.
Angelica, are MuskOx your favorite animal?
I don't have a favorite animal, Natalie, but if we look over here to the left, we'll see Mitch, our hoofstock lead, placing an enrichment item in for our MuskOx. So because we need to work with the MuskOx rather than against them, we're going to introduce this, we call it a Tipsy Tom from Wildlife Toy Box, into there. And we're gonna move over here and maybe the MuskOx will go investigate. I need to move the vehicle. If you guys want to head over, I'll move it.
If y'all have any questions about MuskOx or any other animals living here at AWCC, please leave those down in the comments, and Angelica and I will be happy to answer them for you.
Bye, Mitch. Thank you, Mitch.
We'll just be waiting on the MuskOx to come over. While we're waiting on them to come over, I did want to tell you all about one really cool partnership we have here. We partner with MuskOx Flannels to sell flannels in our gift shop, and they sell them as well on their own website, and they donate $5 for every flannel sold to us, and it's made from MuskOx Kiviat, which is their, it's not, sorry, MuskOx Kiviat is a cool fiber that they create though, and so that MuskOx partnership is super great. And we appreciate any of the items that you purchase from them.
So this Tipsy Tom got a little tipsy.
Will they headbutt it whenever they come and interact with it?
Most likely. They haven't had this enrichment item since about fall, so we're really excited to see how they interact with it. She can't handle it.
Not the puns.
She MuskOx needs to stop. So I guess we'll see. So MuskOx have some really awesome behavioral adaptations that they use to establish their hierarchy, as well as interact with other MuskOx that might be outside of their group, as well as interact with other animals. So this is one of our females. Female MuskOx are called cows. And here comes Wrangel, our dominant bull. So you can see she really listened to that body language Wrangel was saying in that. Wow.
His headbutt. Nice.
names might imply, do you think that they are stinky?
They don't really smell bad right now.
And looking at him, what animal do you think he's closely related to?
Kind of looks like a bison.
Well, he is in the Bovidae family, but he's actually in the Caprinae subfamily, and his closest living relative is actually a goat.
A goat?
A goat in the Himalayas.
That's cool.
Yes.
So they're related to other goats that are like domestic goats too?
A little bit more closely related to goats than they are to cows or bison. And this is one big demonstration of that relation. I'm sure any of you goat keepers out there can relate to some of this. Oh, if I stop talking for a second, you can hear him grumbling.
Got it all the way on the other side.
Oh, Wrangle. What happened?
What did you do, bud?
So now we know why we need to put it in there with a tractor. That Tipsy Tom is, as Natalie, Morgan, and I acknowledged or experienced this morning before this Facebook Live, it's a bit awkward and heavy to carry. And what we just saw was Wrangle, pretty typical. They try to corner something, some enrichment items, some possible threat to their habitat or to their livelihood, and then they do that nice back up and then charge. And we've got our 2-year-old cow investigating or intoxicating.
It was a stretch, but it worked.
Nice. It's important to stay flexible and stretchy.
Flexible.
So now we're going to see the rest of the herd kind of investigate what just happened. But as you probably noticed, most of them kind of hung back while Wrangle was doing that initial investigation and interaction. Here's Juniper, our other 2-year-old female. Oh, if you look. So here's another enrichment item that we provide to our MuskOx. As you can see, that headbutting behavior is really important to them. And then you'll see he'll stop every once in a while and do a scent mark or an oral manipulation opportunity to investigate a little further. And one of my favorite sounds in the world is the sound of a MuskOx backing up, grunting, and then thunder charging towards a wet stack of tiles to a resounding squeak. We've got another MuskOx doing a good scent mark right here, as well as a nice pedicure. These cables fit really nicely between those 2 toes, and you can see he's getting that behind his dew claws as well.
So they have scent glands in between their dew claws?
That is a really good question. We are not completely sure as a scientific community if they have scent glands in their feet. It's really, I lean towards that assumption. It's really challenging to say yes or no to that question.
Makes sense. You were mentioning that they're not highly researched.
Yeah, and typically the specimens that researchers receive were either found out in the wild that died of natural causes, or were actually hunted. Hunting is uniquely a pretty important part of conservation science.
She just eats the snow off of it.
Yes. So we really have to scent and sniff things to really investigate and figure what it means. Which shouldn't be surprising looking at those really long noses we've got on us. Oh, that was a good interaction.
Are these both males that are headbutting each other?
They are, yes. And do you think, looking at this, that's an aggressive move? Just a regular interaction, a curiosity move, or like a fist bump?
It kind of seems like a fist bump, almost like they're playing with each other or saying hi. It wasn't very hard.
That's what I would assume too. It was kind of a, hey, what's going on, fist bump. Oh, my goodness. So that's...
She's decorating.
That's called, yeah, MuskOx Feng Shui. So that's Willow. There's a lot of...
There's a lot going on, yeah.
As you can see, MuskOx this change in their habitat, even though the Tipsy Tom is no longer accessible to the muskox, it changed up their habitat enough where they're all gonna filter over and investigate what happened in that change. So that's one big reason us as their caretakers, we avoid getting too low down on their level, because what do you think a muskox's main predator is in the wild?
Probably things like wolves or foxes.
Why are you eating hair?
It's good.
All right. Yeah, so wolves are generally their main predator. And where do wolves kind of sit when they're just walking on all fours?
Probably in about 2 or 3 feet tall.
Yeah. So if we crouch down, I mean, you and I are definitely predators. We've got our eyes on the front of our heads instead of on the side. So when we crouch down, we kind of get to that predator level. So that's one reason we stay standing and above their eye line. Look at all of these amazing muskox coming up. We've got Susitna right here. Wrangle's gonna come on back and see if anything else has changed. You can see there's some enrichment, or ghosts of enrichment past along the way. That's what Willow was manipulating earlier. Nope, here's our favorite Christmas tree, partially buried in snow. You definitely can see how much snow we still have. Hi, bud. So you might see a good scent mark interaction. Or maybe not. Hi.
Wrangle's got some really thick
Yeah,
horns on
there
top
we
of his
go.
head. How thick would you say his horns get?
Muskox, so that boss on top of his head where his horns meet in the middle, those can measure up from 4 to 6 to 7 inches deep, and they actually grow out from their skull. So that's attached to his skull. And they've been researched for, what is it, the TMI, the traumatic brain injury, TBI, yeah, traumatic brain injury, to see how effective at absorbing impact those bosses are. And there's been muskox that have been found perished out in the wild that have had huge fractures along their skull but have survived into a really old age, which is pretty awesome.
And feel free to drop any questions you might have in the comments section. We did just get a question about how many muskox we have.
Ooh, we have 14 muskox.
How many of those are males and how many are females?
Oh, I'm gonna have to run through my list of names. Do you happen to know off the top of your head? So I'm not just using my fingers. Okay. Let's see. We have Artie, Asam, Suni, Nami, Susitna, Juniper, Willow. I believe that's all their females. I might be missing somebody. If I miss something,
divided in
Mitch is
half?
going to be upset with me. I believe so.
Okay.
Then we have Ringle, Chugs, Beans, Guac, Jasper. Oh, I missed Opal.
Did you get
So 8. I got Juniper, Willow, Opal.
8 and 6?
8 and 6. Yep.
Okay, cool. Almost in half.
Almost in half.
And Lori, we can't wait to welcome you to the center. And Tara, it is indeed snowing. This, I believe, is our 4th false spring, which happens every year in Alaska, but this is a particularly cruel one. We're all shivering out here, but our muskox are nice and warm because they've got that kiviot that you were talking about. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Do you want to talk about
I
it?
would love to talk about Kiviu. You know
Please
me. First, I'd like to point out one of our muskox unicorns. So Chugach right here, he's actually broken off the left horn. So when he turns, oh, perfect timing.
That
there,
was
bud.
incredible. He's a paid actor, y'all.
He's definitely a professional. So we've definitely got Arctic unicorns up here. But yeah, their kiviute is an incredible fiber that is still getting researched for how effective it is and how efficient. But muskox will grow and shed their kiviute every year, and that kiviute we can kind of see on Chugs. You can see that nice lighter fluffy stuff on top of his mane, just behind his ears. So that's kiviute that he didn't quite rub off in the spring last year. But as they shed their kiviute, it doesn't actually have hooks and barbs that make it, feltable or even really tangle. So if we look at Wrangel, who's being another great example for us, or example, he grows that guard hair, that really long fibrous hair, throughout his life. And so they typically will keep that guard hair, and it continues to grow into that lovely full skirt that you see on these older muskox here. And then they'll shed that kivute out from under it. And some facilities like the MuskOx farm and Lars up in UAF, they'll actually comb their muskox because they have the facilities to be able to do that. And they'll collect that kivute so that they can fund their own facility growth and feeding their lovely animals. So these kiddos just shed it naturally, and it gets caught all along their fence lines, on any of the trees, enrichment items that we provide to them. So we've got some street cleaner brushes coming to us from the municipality of Anchorage this spring, so that we can give them that opportunity to do that self-grooming and get that kivute off. It's really important for them to shed as much of it off because it is very toasty fiber and will keep them way too warm during the warm-ish summers we have down here in Portage.
Hello to Becky in the UK. Thanks for tuning in and thank you for visiting. And Kathy wants to know how long muskox live.
Oh, great question. In a captive setting, muskox can live almost to 30 years old. The oldest muskox I've ever known and heard of actually lived at the MuskOx farm in Palmer, and she was George Ann, and she lived to almost 28 years old.
Wow.
In the wild, that number is really not very well known. We estimate it's about half that, so roughly to about 15 years old. He's got to get the back foot now, too.
We've got an investigation on the tippy tom. And Lori wants to know if muskox are considered ungulates.
They definitely are considered ungulates, yes. And they have rumen as well, so they ruminate. And often it always freaks out, especially our newer to muskox keepers that walk past the exhibit on a warmer day, so upwards of, we'll just say 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll see muskox laying completely on their sides with their bodies and legs fully extended, and they look dead. And it freaks out every single new person to muskox because they're just laying there and just exposing their bodies so they can cool off. And you're just like, please, Wrangel, look at me. And then you'll just see him look at you and just huff and be like, I'm fine, calm down. But one cool thing that is not completely understood why they develop it, but do you see this lighter patch on their backs? You can see it on all of them. They have that, we call it a saddle, just from the placement of it. And it's kind of debated the purpose for that saddle, whether it be a great heat efficiency opportunity so that they don't lose too much heat during the winter, but it also helps them lose heat during the summer. It also, if you look over in this group over here, this cluster of muskox, if we're just a predator like a wolf who's investigating this herd for potential prey, and we're looking at that cluster, it's kind of challenging to count how many muskox are in that group right there. So it might be too intimidating for a predator like a wolf to risk their family group to go hunt that muskox, especially if they don't know how many might challenge them for that opportunity, and they could get injured if they miscalculate. But muskox are also pretty well known for a really cool predator response. Do you happen to know what that is?
Is that the circle wagon
It's
technique?
the circle the wagon. Do you want to demonstrate? We've got another coworker over here who came up to investigate.
Okay, Emily.
So, all right, Emily,
Ready?
her cup is going to be our calf, all right? So that's our calf. So, oh no, there's a wolf. Circle around the calf, everybody. All right, so females, get your butts. Hide that thing from our wolf over here. Keep those horns out, and I'm going to be the dominant bull. And I'm going to be posturing, strutting, and I'm going to do some bluff charges. And hope that that wolf deems us a really too risky meal. Thank you for your participation. But this response hasn't been seen in too many animals, so muskox are a really awesome animal. But that response makes them really challenging to research, because if they see a biologist, something that could threaten their livelihood up on the hill over there, they generally will respond with that circle the wagons response. So they'll stop their natural behaviors, like this really important butt scratch going on, and then they'll circle around each other. And so it's really challenging to identify natural behaviors and even natural hierarchies in a herd unless you're really, really good at hiding or camouflaging.
Your acting skills are on point.
You know, it's not my first rodeo.
Beth says that muskox is becoming her new favorite animal.
Oh, all right, I can go home now. My to-do list is complete.
I knew they were your favorite animal.
Oh no. She's judging my muskox.
Oh man, that's some side-eye.
I should probably go and assist Mitch in cleaning up their feed pen while they're over here distracted by you. But thank you so much for this opportunity to chat about muskox.
You're killing me.
You know, there's a whole Oxford English dictionary that we're working on, so get ready. I'm glad you appreciate it still and aren't rolling your eyes constantly.
We're trying not to.
Yeah, thank you, and just holler if there's any more questions.
Thanks for